The book of Revelation is like no other book. A wise preacher once said there are two books that the devil hates most. Firstly, it is the book of Genesis, because it reveals to us the true nature of the devil. And the second book is the book of Revelation, because it reveals to us where the devil is going, and that is the lake of fire. The book of Revelation shows us where the world is heading. As you read the book of Revelation, you can see that the things that were written in this book 2,000 years ago are slowly but surely coming together and falling into place. The 9th chapter of the book of Revelation shows us a remarkable view into the spirit world. In this chapter, we see the spirit world spilling over into our world. The 9th chapter is probably one of the most controversial chapters in the Bible. The late Wilbur M. Smith, who made the book of Revelation his special study, once wrote, "It is probable that, apart from the exact identification of Babylon in Revelation 17 and 18, the meaning of the two judgments in this chapter represents the most difficult major problem in Revelation. This chapter reveals to us the reader's two frightening armies that cause havoc, the army from the pit and the army from the east. But today we are going to focus on the army from the pit, the bottomless pit. A great deal of controversy among biblical scholars surrounds Revelation 9:1-12. Some scholars argue that this is a description of literal locusts that come out of the bottomless pit. Others argue that what comes out of the pit are the decomposing souls of the unsaved. Other scholars argue that this is a description of fighter helicopters that John saw, and because of his time, the only thing he could relate it to was locusts. Others believe that it is an army of demons that will come out of the pit that can only be described as locusts. Let us read Revelation 9:1-12.
Revelation chapter 9, verses 1-12. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion, when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men.
And on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there was stings on their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue has his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
In the book of Revelation, Apollyon is introduced in chapter 9, verse 11. His name is derived from the Greek word Apollyon, meaning destroyer. This serves as a powerful descriptor of his nature, highlighting his role as an agent of destruction and chaos. You do not receive the name, quote, the destroyer, by chance or accident. He is a real being that will bring destruction at his wake. Can you imagine the devastation that will come along with him? While some equate Apollyon with Satan, careful examination reveals that they are distinct entities. Satan is referenced later in Revelation, specifically in chapter 20, when he is bound for 1,000 years. Satan is not Apollyon, and Apollyon is not Satan. The Bible, in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, mentions various scriptural forces such as rulers, authorities, and powers. Apollyon can be understood as one of these entities. These references illuminate the existence of a spiritual hierarchy of evil with Satan at its head, and Apollyon serving as one of his underlings. The distinction between these entities highlights the multifaceted nature of spiritual warfare, reminding us of the different levels and manifestations of darkness. There are levels to Satan's kingdom.
John, the man who was shown what will happen in the end time on the island called Patmos, saw something spectacular. He saw that the things that come out of the bottomless pit have a leader, a king that rules over them, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. This story did not start here. We must have been hearing about this name called Apollyon. There have been short movies and videos that have been made and titled Apollyon. We must have also heard of Apollyon the Destroyer before. We may know of this name, but many of us don't know who or what bears this name. We don't know the power of the entity bearing this name, and we don't have the idea of what the entity will do. Many people have believed that this particular being that John talked about was Satan himself. They believed it is another name for Satan because of the title that was given to this angel, the Destroyer. But Apollyon cannot be Satan, and I will explain why. Starting from what led to this part of the Bible, John was seeing trumpets sounded by angels and things were happening. As the trumpets sounded, each trumpet presents a disaster worse than the disaster that preceded it. The 5th, 6th, and 7th trumpets are called the 3 woes. The 5th trumpet was sounded by the 5th angel and something happened. Revelation 9:1. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. John said a star fell from heaven. This same star was given a key to the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is a place that can only be described as a place of detention for the wicked angels, or the demons' world. If we remember another thing John said about this bottomless pit, it is a place where Satan himself would be locked for 1,000 years. We see this in Revelation 23. Here, this pit in Revelation 9, the pit is locked, but someone was given a key to open the bottomless pit. John said a star fell from heaven, and it was given the key to the bottomless pit. We were made to know that this star was a being, and the word he. The use of the word he is used to indicate that it was a being. The exact identity of this being who is given the keys is not known. Some argue it is Satan himself who is given the key, and others argue that it is an angel. The exact identity of this star is not explicitly stated. After the star was given the key, what did he do? The Bible says that he opened the bottomless pit. After he opened it, some locusts that looked like scorpions came out of the pit. The leader of these things was described in Revelation 9:11, whose name is Abaddon in Hebrew, and then Apollyon in Greek, meaning the destroyer. The first thing we can know about this Apollyon being is that he is locked up in the bottomless pit waiting to be freed. These things all came from a place called the bottomless pit. This should make us know one of the things that are in this place called the bottomless pit. It houses demons, angels of Satan, and all kinds of spirits that these angels control. There must be more angels like Apollyon in this pit, but what we are concerned about is the Apollyon who is given the power to destroy the earth. The fact that the Bible used the word locust doesn't mean they were ordinary locusts. If we look at the descriptions of these locusts, they look nothing like locusts. Revelation 9:7-10 KJV. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings were as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. These things don't look like locusts. If we know what locusts are, they're like grasshoppers. They have hind legs which they can use to jump sometimes. They don't have human heads or human hair. They don't have breastplates. They don't have the shape of horses, and they look nothing like horses. That should tell you the description that John gave about these locusts doesn't mean that they look like the actual locusts, but the Bible scholars believe that he called them locusts because of their mission and their number. What do locusts do? The simple answer is, they destroy plants. Except these won't be destroying plants, and typically if you see a locust, you can't number them. They come in their thousands, hundreds of thousands. We see in the Bible that Satan fell with a third of the angels. Therefore, we know that the devil does have beings that work under him. The kingdom of Satan does have a hierarchy. That are some spirits that are evil and more wicked than others. Just like we have the archangels in heaven who lead the other angels in some specific assignments, like fighting battles and delivering the messages of God to human beings, we can see the angel Michael in the book of Daniel helping the angel that was held by the prince of Persia. We can also get the record of his war with the fallen angels and Satan in heaven. Revelation 12:7-8 KJV. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought, and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Angel Michael leads battles, and Apollyon on the other side of Satan leads a group of demons or evil spirits that are described as locusts. It doesn't matter how powerful this angel is. It doesn't matter the number of things he can destroy. It doesn't matter the number of armies he has. His powers are limited. No matter how powerful and strong Apollyon is, no matter how big his army is, he is not almighty. Only the Lord is almighty. However, the power Apollyon will have during this period of time while he is on earth isn't to be played with.